Stand to, and tonight we are doing Numbers Under Fire, because there was a real event this week and the coverage of it split into two completely different wars. Here is the event as the record has it. A mass crossing from Morocco into Ceuta, which is a Spanish enclave on the North African coast, meaning a border of Europe that sits on Africa's shoreline. Tens of thousands of people crossed. Spain deployed its military. That is real, it is enormous, and it deserves serious coverage. What it got instead, on some of the biggest shows in America, is the subject of tonight's file. Start with the count, because everything else hangs off it. How many people crossed? There are two official answers, and I am going to give you both because they disagree. And honest counts disagreeing is what real data looks like. Ceuta's regional president, Juan Jesus Vivas, estimates about 60,000 people. Spain's Interior Ministry puts it around 50,000, 50 to 60,000, depending on who is counting and how. This desk reports both and splits no difference. Hold those two numbers, soldier, because now comes the one that exists nowhere. 80,000 invaded Ceuta, reads the Valuetainment headline, with quotation marks doing the work of a source that does not exist. Euronews went looking for where 80,000 came from and traced the figure in circulation to a different event entirely. Turkey's claim during the 2020 Evros crisis. Different year, different border, different sea. The only Ceuta number it resembles is the population of the city itself. And here is the part I want you to sit with. On his own broadcast, Patrick Bet David walked it back. Let's just say the number is 49 to 60,000. His words, on his air. The title stayed at 80. And once a number breaks loose from counting, watch how fast it climbs. On one single episode of Tim Pool's show, the estimate opens at likely around 20,000. Minutes later, the same broadcast says 80,000 people at the Moroccan border who all knew to be there at the exact same time. That is a four-fold jump inside one episode, with no new information arriving in between. The same show then extrapolates 3 to 4 million on the way, from a Spanish regularization decree that covered about 500,000 people. When a number quadruples in an hour without a single new fact, soldier, you are not watching journalism. You are watching an auction. Next claim. Not a single female, not a single child, all of them military-aged men. That is the assertion, near word for word, on more than one of these shows. Here is the record. Al Jazeera, summarizing Spanish officials, describes the crossers as mostly young Moroccan men, but also families with women and children. Now pay attention to what I'm about to do, because this is the whole discipline. Mostly young men is true. It is worth reporting, and I just reported it. All is false. And all is not a rounding error on mostly. All is the word the framing needs, because families with children walk right through a story about an invading army. Then there is the burning city. Invaders burned down European city, says the Benny Johnson title. The fire damage in the primary record, 1 bus and 7 cars burned near the border after clashes between security forces and crowds. Not one fetched source reports a single building burned. 1 bus and 7 cars is genuine disorder and worth reporting straight. A city on fire is a different continent of claim, and the distance between those two is the exact distance between coverage and theater. And now the number that was buried under all of that shouting, and I am going to say it the way it deserves to be said. 34 people drowned or were crushed to death in this crossing. 34 human beings, dead at the edge of Europe, in the actual event that actually happened. That figure appears in the sober reporting, and in none of the thumbnails. I am not going to weaponize those deaths in the other direction either. They are not a debating point against anybody. They are the cost, and a story that inflates every number except the death toll has told you what it is actually selling. After action. A real mass crossing happened at Ceuta. 50 to 60,000 people by the two official counts, 34 of them dead, Spain's military deployed. That story is dramatic enough to carry any honest broadcast. Nobody needed 80,000. Nobody needed a burning city. Nobody needed all, where the record says mostly. A few volumes back in this file, I told you that when somebody hands you a dramatic simultaneity, you ask them for both clocks. Tonight's version is shorter. When somebody hands you a big number, ask them who counted. If the answer is nobody, the number is not information. It is bait. File it. Dismissed. I'm Mark, and this is Pixel Politics.